Welcome to Honest Whispers Preview for Sale. On this video, I'll be previewing Namco Girls Figure Collection, Cassandra, released by TYC as part of their SR series or Super Real Figure series. She is figure number 2 of series number 1. She comes with the base, sword, and shield detached. She's approximately 4.5 inches tall, and this is the Soul Calibur 2 version. I'm going to go over 6 different categories to preview this, and I'm doing a preview rather than a full review because I listed and sold this online, so I won't be taking her out of the package. First category is design, which pretty much covers the look, the pose, and the concept. And as far as her pose goes, it's definitely open for interpretation. It looks like she's either in a fighting stance, a victory pose, or she's getting ready to fight. But what I really like about this pose is the way her hair and her skirt is blowing in the wind. And I like how her knees are slightly bent toward each other, which really captures her personality and the essence of who Cassandra is. And that's why I give the design score a perfect 10 out of 10. Next category is sculpting. Pretty much covers the details, quality of the sculpt and molding, and the execution. And as you can see, she has a lot of details on her hair, her dress, costume, armor, boots, and even sword and shield has some pretty nice design and sculpting to it. Now, most of her body is well proportioned. Especially when you look at her arms, breasts, waist, her legs. And the only thing I thought I think that I feel like there's an issue is the length of her feet. I just feel like it's a bit tad too long or big. And even though, yeah, there's people out there with big feet or small feet, for her, I just feel like the feet could have been just slightly shorter and wouldn't have any kind of, wouldn't have noticed anything about it. But either way, even as is, it still looks fine. And that's why the proportion itself isn't too bad. Now, as far as the quality of the molding goes, now you could see some rough edges here on her hair, especially her bangs. And that's why I feel like when I look at it, at times it looks like Raggedy Ann hair, or it looks like she has dreadlocks. Also, this could be a molding issue right here with that little piece of plastic sticking out at the top of her boot. Now, it actually could be just something that's just kind of stuck there. Not actually like a permanent attachment, but something like a foam or something that's just kind of stuck on there, which could be a possibility just because there's no blue paint over it. So I don't see why someone would paint around that, but still, just the way it looks, it might be a flaw, especially when you look at the prototype or the sample picture. So something to be concerned about. Otherwise, everything else is nice and smooth and don't really see any flaws. And that's why I give the sculpting score a high 8 out of 10. Next category is colors. Pretty much covers the accuracy of the colors, quality of the paint, and quality of the paint application. And as far as accuracy goes, it's perfectly accurate. This is the same colors and tone that you would see from the video game. You could even see some imprinting like the gold emblem on her necktie. And there is some gold emblem here on the side of her boots. And as far as the quality of paint, I mean, it looks pretty nice. But as far as application goes, now when you look really up close, you could see some bleeding, like right there on her left shoulder area of her dress. You could see the line kind of thick, like a thick part of the line, and also it kind of thins out. Some squiggly line or a little bit of bleeding of the blue color on her skirt right there. Otherwise, you get nice straight lines, straight edges. Now, there are some issues here on her shield. You can see some gold bleeding onto the blue. The sword is overall nice. And one other issue I have is, now the eyes are okay, but then it just feels like her pupils are a bit too big. So it really looks like she has black eyes or really dark eyes, compared to what you might see here on the sample or the prototype, where you actually see some white around the pupil. You could still see some white here, but the ratio just isn't as good, and that's why, especially when you look from afar, it looks like she has really like blackened eyes, kind of. But as far as the other flaws go, like the bleeding, when you're at a distant, and when you're looking at it from a distance, you really don't see much of the flaws. So it's really something you would have to look closely at. And that's why I give the color score a high 7 out of 10. Next category is packaging. Pretty much covers the design, the look, and the functionality of the packaging. And as you can see, this is a blister card packaging or a bubble card packaging. What I really like about this packaging is the way it's consistent with the other characters, but at the same time you do have some individualization here as far as the figure number goes, her name, and even the video game that she's in. Now the back is pretty much the same as you would see with the other characters in the series, but still overall just the way it looks is fine. And on the blister, this is probably the best part about it, is that the ridges or the folded lines, it adds some sturdiness to it. So compared to something that's flat or smooth, which may risk any kind of creases or dents, this one really makes it a bit tougher. And well thought out is the bottom platform here, the way they designed this part here, so that when you leave it just standing on its own, it's very close to being completely flat. So if it wasn't there, then this would be leaning in a lot more, or in some cases it wouldn't be able to stand on its own and it'll just kind of flop over. That's why I give the packaging score a perfect 10 out of 10. Next category is value. Pretty much covers the suggested retail price versus the aftermarket price, and the suggested retail price or the aftermarket price versus the quality. And what you get as far as quality goes, definitely nice. Now, this one, I forgot how long ago it's been when I bought this or when it was released, but it's definitely been over 10 years. So it does have some aftermarket value. Now, I sold this as a bundle for $38 plus tax and shipping, which added up to close to about $52. There's a same bundle, same three figure pack, so being listed on Amazon, and that's at $49.99 with free shipping. So with tax, you'd probably be a little over $52. When I originally bought this, it was roughly around $5.99, $6.99 each. So it's a little bit under $20. And that's why there is definitely some aftermarket value to these figures, but mainly to Taki, who has the most aftermarket value. Now, if you look up Cassandra, she's right now roughly at an average of $15. You could see it as low as, a little above $10. And I've seen some people who list it as high as $20. So it really depends, but still definitely does have some value. And that's why I give the value score slightly above average, 6 out of 10. Final categories overall pretty much accumulates the 5 prior categories: design, sculpting, colors, packaging, and value. And as I said, the quality overall is really nice. I do like the pose, and it really does capture that essence of Cassandra, who she in herself just, there isn't, pretty rare because there isn't much characters or statues made out of her, but that can also be a bad, I guess, a bad point, because there's not as much demand for her, which is why her value, aftermarket value, won't go up as high or as fast as Taki's would. But still, this is a very nicely, sculpted figure, especially for its size. A lot of details and high quality. And one thing I didn't really mention or couldn't show is because it's still in its package, you really can't see it. But they did sculpt her butt as well. And believe it or not, it almost looks like she has a camel toe, or that they sculpted kind of like a camel toe. So definitely a lot of attention to detail to this figure. Really can't go wrong with it, even if you're paying upwards to $20. And that's why I give the overall score a high 8 out of 10. So to recap: design, 10 out of 10. Sculpting, 8 out of 10. Colors, 7 out of 10. Packaging, 10 out of 10. Value, 6 out of 10. And overall, 8 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Continue reading the King James Version Bible and eat your vitamin C's daily.